Before we get into this, let me ask you something. Have you ever followed all the advice, bought the best treats, watched the training videos, avoided the triggers, stayed consistent for weeks or even months and still found yourself dealing with the exact same problem? Maybe your dog still pulls on the lead, maybe they still bark at other dogs, maybe recall only works when nothing interesting is happening, and at some point you start wondering whether you are missing something. If that sounds familiar, this conversation is for you. What am I saying? Here's the breakdown. Tune in. A lot of dog owners are told that if they simply keep handing out treats, avoid triggers, and give the process enough time, their dog's behavioral issues will eventually disappear on their own. While that advice often sounds reassuring, it leaves out an important part of the conversation. To be clear, I'm not arguing against rewards. Rewards are an essential part of good dog training, and every competent trainer uses them in some form. The problem arises when rewards become the only tool being used. When training is reduced to nothing more than offering treats and hoping the dog gradually makes better choices, many owners find themselves stuck in the same plunks months later, sometimes even years later, wondering why the behavior hasn't truly changed. Over the years, I've worked with countless owners struggling with reactivity, pulling on the lead, poor recall, severe aggression, anxiety, and a wide range of other behavioral challenges. What I've consistently noticed is that many of these people arrive after spending months or sometimes years following advice that gave them hope but never delivered lasting results. They often understand their dog's behavior far better than they did before, yet the behavior itself remains largely unchanged. The reason for this is that the goals are often very different. Some training approaches place a heavy emphasis on helping owners feel better about the behavior by explaining why it exists. They focus on management strategies, emotional understanding, and learning how the dog experiences the world. There is absolutely value in understanding your dog, and no one should dismiss that. However, understanding a problem and solving a problem are not the same thing. Most owners don't seek professional help because they want a more detailed explanation of why the dog behaves a certain way. They seek help because they want practical change. They want a dog that stops dragging them down the street. They want a dog that comes back when called. They want a dog that can walk past another dog without lunging or barking or losing control. In other words, they want results. If 6 months have passed and the dog is still reacting to every trigger, still ignoring your recall, or still displaying the same unwanted behaviors, then understanding the behavior hasn't actually fixed the behavior. Knowledge is valuable, but knowledge alone doesn't create change. One of the biggest limitations of relying exclusively on rewards is that rewards have a ceiling. Every reward, no matter how exciting it seems at first, eventually becomes familiar. A piece of chicken that once captured your dog's full attention may work brilliantly in the beginning, but as the environment becomes more challenging, distractions become stronger and triggers become more intense, suddenly that piece of chicken isn't enough. So owners often respond by increasing the value of the reward. They bring better treats, then even better treats. Before long, they are carrying an entire buffet around on every walk in an attempt to compete with the outside world. Eventually, however, many reach a point where the environment itself is simply more rewarding than anything they can offer. The squirrel, for example, is more exciting than the treat. The opportunity to run toward another dog is more rewarding than the food in your pocket. The chance to react, chase, investigate, or engage with the environment outweighs whatever reward you're holding. At that point, you've reached the limit of what rewards alone can accomplish. Many owners mistake early progress for a complete solution. Their dog improves when there is plenty of distance from triggers. The dog performs better in controlled environments. Everything seems to work when conditions are carefully managed and distractions are minimal. Then reality begins to interfere and progress slows or stops altogether. Another major issue is behavioral rehearsal. Every time a reactive dog explodes at another dog, that behavior becomes more deeply ingrained. Every time a dog ignores a recall command and successfully runs off, the behavior is strengthened. Every time a dog pulls an owner towards another dog and reaches its destination, the dog learns that pulling works. This is where real life becomes a challenge. Training environments can be carefully controlled. Owners can create distance and manage triggers and set up situations designed for success. But life rarely cooperates with training plans. A dog suddenly appears around a corner, a cyclist comes flying past without warning, a child drops food on the pavement, another dog runs across a field. In an instant, that carefully managed environment disappears and the real world takes over. When that happens, your training system must be capable of functioning outside ideal conditions. Dogs don't spend their lives in controlled training sessions. They live in unpredictable environments filled with distractions, surprises, and situations that cannot always be avoided. If the primary strategy is simply avoiding problems, eventually reality catches up and exposes the weakness in that approach. Time is another factor that often gets overlooked. Most dog owners are not professional trainers. They have jobs, families, responsibilities, and limited hours in the day. When someone is told that meaningful progress may take 6 months, a year, or even longer, many eventually lose motivation and stop following the plan. That doesn't make them bad owners. It doesn't mean they don't care about their dogs. It simply means they are human. Even the most theoretically perfect training system becomes useless if people cannot realistically stick with it. A method is only effective when owners are willing and able to apply it consistently over time. This is why results matter so much. It's why proof matters. It's why before and after videos, case studies, and real-world examples resonate strongly with dog owners. People want evidence that someone else faced the same challenge and successfully overcame it. They want confidence that the effort they are investing will actually lead somewhere. At the end of the day, most dog owners aren't interested in training ideologies or endless debates between trainers. They don't care about labels, camps, or online arguments. What they care about is living peacefully with their dog. They want to enjoy walks instead of dreading them. They want confidence instead of stress. They want a relationship that allows both them and their dog to enjoy life together. The goal should always be straightforward. Create a dog that clearly understands what is expected, create an owner who knows how to communicate effectively, and produce results that genuinely improve life for both of them. Because dog training isn't about winning arguments on the internet. It isn't about proving that one philosophy is superior to another. It's about helping dogs live better lives and helping the people who love them enjoy those lives alongside them. And that's really what this conversation comes down to. Your dog's behavior isn't random. It's the product of what happens every single day, whether intentionally or unintentionally. The question is whether you're willing to change those patterns or continue living with the results they create. Your dog's behavior isn't random. It's a result of what you are doing every single day. Will you change it or keep living with it? I don't know, but I guess we'll find out. Take care.